every time, all right, so let's just say 9 times out of 10, when I went through my girl's phone, I found some shit, right? So you're not really gonna go through nobody's phone unless they moving funny, unless they acting weird, they say some weird shit, you peep something. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time, let's be honest. And that's another thing too, fuck that. I was about to be all nice with it. Fuck all that shit. Everybody that's watching this video, you went through your either it was your boyfriend, your girlfriend, you went through their phone before. I know you did. You can front all you want. You might be sitting next to them watching this. You don't have to admit it right then and there, but in your head, I already know you went through their phone. If not once, twice, a few times, you done it. There's some people that do it every day. You did it before. Whether you found something or not, that's on y'all, I don't know. But you did it before. So I'm about to feel a little bad. No, I'm not even going to say it nice. Y'all did it before. So anyway, I have a story about that, right? Like I said, you only going to do that as if you see funny shit or peep something. I'm going to try to make this story short. So, I used to work with my ex, right? My girl, I'm going to say my girl. I used to work with her, right? And when we got together while we was working at the job, like I came there after her, whatever the case is, and then we started fucking with each other. It happened like that. So when you first get with somebody, everything is all good, everything is all, that beginning of the relationship shit, right? So when you work together, sometimes even like y'all might go on break together. You know how that shit go, y'all go on break together a lot, whatever. Now the thing is, we was doing that, but I was still doing my nigga shit. She was still doing her shit with her girls, you know what I'm saying? So when I say nigga shit, all I was doing, I was just smoking on break with the homies and then shit. She was doing what she doing, but we was going on break together though. All right, so boom. That was some regular shit we wasn't even thinking about. I already know. Even when I was doing that, you tell me roll up. Why them niggas rolling up? Me and my shorty go to the store, get some whatever, then come back, and then she do what she do, and I go smoke. That's how it was going. So boom. This particular week, we wasn't really fuck with each other like that. We was together, but we was on break. And I don't like breaks. Like that's another thing I'm gonna touch on another story. I don't like breaks. Fellas, if you with a girl and she's telling you she wanna go on break, she either really wanna break up with you and she wanna break up with you and she may have an option out there, right? And she's trying to see how that go. If that option out there goes well, she's gonna dead you during that break. Or she may have an option out there where she might not wanna fuck with that nigga in a relationship type shit, but she want to fuck him. And she don't want to necessarily cheat on you. So she going to force a break because you're not doing so good right now, whatever. You going to force a break so she go fuck him and then come back to you and can always tell you, I never cheated on you. That's bullshit, bro. Every time I went on break with a girl, when I was with a girl, and she went on break, some shit always happened. That's for immature high school kids. If a girl over 25, I'm going to say 25 to be a little nice. If a girl over 25 is telling you she want to go on break, she's still immature, dead her. Break her up. We're adults. We're not going on break. We're going to stop talking for a few days or whatever the case is, or for a day or two, whatever that goes, and then talk it out later and work it out. We're not going to go on break to do whatever we want to do and then come back like shit's sweet. That shit's retarded. But anyway, we went on break. So we wasn't really talking like that. So we wasn't going on break together, not like that. So that's how it was going. But the pattern was still the same. She was still going to the store, but except with her homegirls, and come back and do the same shit. I'm still doing the same shit. I'm probably rolling up. I'm just chilling in one spot now. So boom. That was normally going on. And this particular day, our breaks is like 30 to 45 minutes. I think it was really 30, but I think we dragged to like 45 for the most part, like whatever. So either way, she was going for like an hour and some change. So after like a good 45 to an hour, I'm like, even though we're not talking, I'm looking around like, where the fuck she at? You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing is, all her friends is here. So now I'm kind of like losing focus what I was doing because I'm looking around like, where the fuck she at? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where the fuck? All her friends is here. You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck else she could be? She'd be with you. Fuck she doing? Anyway, I kind of forget. So the way we was working at, we about to close. You know what I'm saying? So now the fact we about to close, everybody that come through the door, it's kind of catching my attention. It's like, yo, we about to close. Why y'all still coming? Like, I don't want them. You know how that shit goes. So, and everything like it's getting like less people outside. Everything's standing out. So a car pull up, and I just happen to look. But I kind of paid no mind, but I'm looking because it stopped right in front of where we work at, right in front of the job. So I'm like, whatever. Then my shorty come out the passenger side. So I'm like, what the fuck? And it shit throwing me off, and it's just kind of weird because I'm like, you supposed to go on break. Where we work at, it's stores all over the place. Anything you want is within 5 to 10 minutes away. Walking distance. There's no reason to get it in an Uber. There's no reason to get in a train. There's no reason even gonna probably maybe a bike. I'm probably dragging it, but everything is right there. Everything. We even had an Apple store right there. Everything you need. There's a sneaker. Everything you need is over there. Why are you in an Uber? I mean, why are you in a car, period? Because she tried to hit me with the Uber. Why are you in a car? So, boom. I'm sitting there, and the thing is, I don't know. I know everybody be looking outside, but I'm like, oh, who else peep this shit? So I peep it, and I just try to play it off. But you know how you know other people peep it? Because the nigga next to me, he looked. Then he looked down and look again. I see it from the corner of my peripheral. He look down, then look at me. So when he look at me, before he say something stupid, I'm just like, what the fuck? So I'm just like, I just like let him like say something like to let him know I see it. So don't state the obvious, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? He caught on. He might see this shit too. Thank you, my nigga. You caught on. So he caught on, whatever. And he's just looking at this shit. I mean, I would have looked too. I don't blame him. So now I noticed that everybody that's in the area, they all peep. You know what I'm saying? Now, even when me and her wasn't really on good terms and shit, she'll come in. She had this shit where she would just stare at me and look at me and then keep pushing. All right, whatever. And this time she came in. She didn't even look at me. She kind of looked and looked down and started like avoiding eye contact with me. So I already knew what's up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna let it go because I know people's watching. I'm not trying to make shit hot. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let it go. Boom. Well, I'm gonna let it go right now. Like later on, I'm gonna press this shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna see what's going on. I'm gonna let it go right now. But mad people was looking to the point where the energy is mad thick right now. People's peeking at me. Girls that don't like her. You know what I'm saying? And don't really talk to me. They kind of looking at me. Like, everybody's looking at me to the point where I can't even concentrate what I'm doing because I feel eyes on me. So I'm feeling funny now. You know what I'm saying? And then, so now I'm like, fuck that shit. You know, that shit start fucking with your head. Now I'm like, fuck that. I'm about to, that's what happened. That's what made me go fuck it. Because her friend that she normally be with, that I thought she was going to be on break with her, she comes running from the back, like, give her that look. And they go, like, meet each other and go to the break room. I'm like, oh, nah, hold on. That shit look mad funny. You know, in the store, when I looked around, everybody's kind of peeping the same shit. Nobody's saying nothing, though. That's another thing. That was a spot where, that was a job where everybody's running their mouth, everybody talking. It was lit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's talking, running their mouth. It's kind of loud, you know what I'm saying? That time, that was one of the few moments everybody was like, this light talk, everybody looking around, kind of like talking among themselves. It's like, oh shit, all right. So I peeped. So it's getting a little awkward and shit. So, but when the friend did that shit, when they made each other like halfway and then went to the break room, like it was kind of weird. I'm like, nah. I went right out. So I tried to play it over, but it was obvious where I was going because the bathroom's back there too. So it seemed like you went to the bathroom. So I tried to act like I was walking towards the bathroom, but I couldn't play it off. It's hard because it's like right next to each other. So I went like this and just went to the break room or whatever. And then I went in there. So I asked her, I'm like, yo, so what the fuck was that about? And she was like, what are you talking about? I just got out the Uber. I said, so you in the passenger side of an Uber? I said, look, don't fucking lie to me. And I was bluffing because I don't like being embarrassed. But I was like, I was like, don't do this. I wouldn't embarrass you in here. I would make a whole scene in here. Do not do this because we just got together like a couple months now. So she didn't really know what I was capable of, what I would actually do or would not do. So I was like, yo, I will embarrass you in here. Do not do this. So that was the Uber you just came out of? And she's like, nah, that's my best friend. I'm gonna make up a name right now because I want to say it. That's my best friend, Jeffrey, right? Another best friend shit, of course. You know what I'm saying? But this story wasn't really focused on the best friend thing because really, to be honest, she threw that out there because she thought that was gonna be something good to say. Not knowing I hate that whole best friend shit, whatever. So what it really was she was really, I don't know. I think she was probably fucking with it. But anyway, she just threw that out there to save herself for a second. So I'm like, best friend. I never heard of this nigga. I said, since we were together, I never heard this nigga name. But I did see this nigga name and come up in her phone before. You know what I'm saying? But I paid it no mind. But I do remember that name because it stood out. It wasn't Jeffrey. That was the name I'm giving y'all right now. But it stood out. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'm like, yo, who is that? Whatever. That's my best friend. This, that, and the third. I'm like, listen. So now we arguing in there, and her friend is really making me mad because her friend is trying to sell the story so hard. She's like, you mad about Jeffrey? Oh my god, like nobody paid Jeffrey no mind. Like, like. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear that shit. She's like, yo, you going mad hard. Like, nobody paid. Jeffrey's like a friend. Like, you grew up with Jeffrey. This, that. I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear that shit. That shit's getting me tight. And now I know we all getting loud and people could hear. So I'm just trying to keep it low, whatever. I'm like, you know what? So I gave in. I was like, you know what? Leave it alone. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I don't want to see this nigga name again. I don't want you to talk to him again. So what you hang with him for? She was like, oh, he just get money. He's scared. All this shit. So why are you hanging with him? You don't have to hang with that nigga. Like, because, I'm good. And while she wasn't with you, while you went by yourself, I don't want to hear that shit. So I just told her, shut it down. You can't fuck with the nigga no more. That's that. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. So we still was not talking to each other. We still was like on break type shit, whatever. And I happened to hit it the next day. I gave in because I did feel funny because I'm like, yo, you see, as soon as you go on break, these niggas start lingering back around. So I don't like that shit. So I ended up hitting her up, whatever. And told her I wanted to see her. This time she was okay with it. She was cool with it. She was like, all right, yeah, come as soon as you can, whatever. So I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna be there in a second. So I get there, and when I got there, it threw me off because she was mad excited. You know what I'm saying? She was like excited to see me, happy to see me. I was surprised. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? You was beefing me all week, and then that shit happened yesterday, and I barked on you, and now you all happy. I should have known. That means something probably happened. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? We was supposed to be on break. So I told her, you know, I didn't want to do the break thing no more. I wanted to get back together. I wanted to, you know, whatever. And she was cool. She was saying the same thing. That was cool. So we was actually about to go out. So she's about to jump in the shower. I'm like, all right, cool. She goes in the shower, leave her phone there, whatever. And like I said, I don't really, well, I don't know if I said that. I don't really be checking girls' phones. You know what I'm saying? Like, my girls, I don't really be checking their phones. It's just the fact that sometimes if something happened, yeah, I do check it, but it's not something I do. Her phone, something like, hey, let me see what's going on today. Now, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, only if you moving crazy. So the phone's sitting there now. I'm sitting, because I knew she was going to take a little long. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching TV. It was something on TV I was watching. I put my phone down. My phone was in my hand. I just put it next to me. Phone lit up. I looked. I thought it was my phone. It's not my phone. No funny shit. It's not my phone. I thought it was my phone because there's a phone sitting there, shit light up. I look. So when I look and realize it's not my phone, I realize it's hers. I start looking away, but what caught my attention was that name. I told you that name stood out. It wasn't Jeffrey. I'm going to say Jeffrey. But the name stood out, and I'm like, Jeffrey, what the? And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, yo, if you told this nigga to leave you alone, if he doesn't leave you alone, stop talking to you, if you told, because she told me she did. So if you did that, he shouldn't be writing you right now, especially if you did this shit yesterday. So he writes whatever, and I'm thinking like, yo, should I look at this shit? Because I knew her password because she have a daughter, whatever. And I remember her daughter said a password out loud. And I heard the shit. I remember, just in case purposes, and this was one of them, just in case, you never know. You never know. I never went through her phone before that. And I remember, and as a matter of fact, I didn't really remember her password until all of a sudden at that moment, I was like, I remember this shit. I know exactly what this shit is. So, you know how that shit goes. It's that instinct. So, he writes again. And I'm like, you know, they double write. I'm just like, you know what? I'm about to read this shit because you're not supposed to be talking to this nigga anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, boom, I go on the phone. I read this shit.